Hey, habari ya jioni baba. Habari zenyu? Hello, Makobura, habari gani?
Yes. Good evening. I'm okay. Niko salama jioni hii ya leo. Nashukuru. Nina imani ya kwamba tutakuwa na wakati mwema tukijadili yale mambo ambayo yanatuhusu sisi kama Wakenya na tutapata masuluhisho.
Asante sana bwana Makobura. Bwana Miguda, wewe unasema vipi? Jioni yako iko aje?
Jioni yangu iko salama sana, labda wewe uko?
Mimi sina mengi sana ya kusema. Tunashukuru tu Mungu ametupatia uhai, na vile vile pia tunaona mabadiliko imefanyika katika mlingo wa siasa. Vitu mingi zimetokea kwa masaa 24, vitu mingi sana, na baadhi ya hizo vitu ndio labda tunataka kuja hapa ili tuzungumze. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming in for this short notice, and we just want to share with Kenyan people, our brothers, what has just happened within this short period of time in political field. And we just want to look at especially the good things that the Gen Z has done and what is the way forward. Bearing in mind right now, there are two big forces in the political field that has come together. That is, it's also complicating the political landscape. So let me start with you, Makobura. What is the way forward for the Gen Z right now, bearing in mind that the Right Honorable Prime Minister or the ODM fraternity has joined the broad-based government?
Okay, first, I want to take this opportunity to really congratulate the young people of the Republic of Kenya. They have surely shown that they are liberators, I would call them so, because they have ensured that all political leaders who are sleeping on their job, they have, in one way or another, they have woken up and they have started listening to the people. They have started following the constitution, and they've also started speaking to the people, not speaking at the people the way they've been speaking. So it's a good thing that the young people reminded the people in leadership that they have a role, that they are servants of the people, and so they have to respect the people who has given them a chance to represent them. We saw the opposition joined the government, and some of the ODM leaders were appointed to the cabinet secretaries. That, in a way, has somehow changed the whole plan that the Gen Zs had. But again, I've been following what they're doing in the social medias. I can clearly say that they are focused people. They are regrouping again in social media, and they are coming up with some other ways of going to tackle and to deal with the problems that they have as a people. So from what I have observed, they are still working towards the gate. They're still a focused people, and we will still see more from them. They're still saying that the demonstrations are not over. It is it's something that they're still pursuing through demonstration, all the issues that they had raised to the government.
Okay, thank you so much. Miguda, what do you want to say before I come to the demonstration? And there's something that I need to ask both of you about the demonstration, like the Gen Z are still planning. Miguda, just say your view, opening remark on that, then I can follow up with the question.
I think as a country we are facing a new political dispensation, but it has been hijacked by the political class. As the Gen Zs, you are protesting so that we can get overhaul of the whole system. But it is as if the political class do not want to get overhaul of the whole system. So I believe that the status quo still remains, maybe with few changes here and there, but the status quo still remains. So we still have a long way to go. The struggle continues, and we will fight until That time we'll get the overhaul of the system.
Okay, thank you so much. As you say very correctly, that you're still going to struggle to make sure that the system is overhauled, and one of the ways in which this struggle can be is through the protest. But now the protesting is becoming quite much not understandable, or is coming with a challenge, knowing very well that now Baba and the, the government, the president Uhuru Kenyatta, the president William Ruto, sorry, they've now come together. And going to the street, you can even hear people saying that jeshi la baba, sasa tutaki maandamano, President Ruto ni meupe kama pamba, hiyo inasemekana. And also the fanatical base of William Ruto. How are the Gen Z going to deal with it if they go on street?
From where I sit, it is true to say that Raila Odinga has he has so many followers in the Republic of Kenya. Among them are the young youths. But it is also right to note that the president also commands a good following, of which majority of them are youths. But again, I want to remind you that as much as the young people follows William Samoei Ruto is the president, as much as some of them follows the position leader, that is Raila Odinga, these young people still feels that their problems or their issues that they've been presenting before the leadership, they've not been listened to, and they feel that the leaders have been taking them for a ride. For this reason, for the first time, the young people, they're trying to defy all the odds. They're not actually listening to the political leaders, but what they're doing is they're simply revolting and reminding the political leaders that they've been following that this time round they're not going to follow them. They have a reason, and the reasons they have laid down to the president and to the leaders of the Republic of Kenya. So they're still very focused, and they have insisted that if their issues are not looked into, if their issues are not discussed, if they are not called at the table, they are not going to be part of the of any political or even any leadership, or they're not going to be part of, they're not going to associate themselves with any political party or any leader who is trying to lead them. So in short, the young people have raised their issues, and these issues they've been raising here come here in so many years. But this time around, they've decided that they have to solve it at this point, because if they don't solve it, no one is solving it. They have given the leaders a good time to analyze and to deal with the issues that they've raised. But sure enough, we've never seen the leaders look into the issues. We've simply seen them discussing issues which are affecting them as political party leaders or political class, and the issues of the youth have not been looked into. So they are still planning for demonstration, and the demonstrations are still on as far as they are concerned.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Makobura, talking about that. And Miguda, also I want you to handle, because the way Makobura is saying that, okay, the youths have not been considered based on the fact that even after Gen Z bringing about the protest and calling for accountability and transparency, not even going for because what they were looking for, especially for the youths actually were not looking for positions. They were just asking the people who are giving the position, what are they doing with their position? How are you putting your position to deliver? And now this idea of them coming together, and both of them have very fanatical base. How is the Gen Z, if they go on the street, Miguda, how are they going to overcome that challenge?
I think first we should be clear that these demonstrations, they have no time limit, and they are not for specific people. These demonstrations are for all of us. Everyone has a right to demonstrate, and there's no one who can decide for a people to demonstrate on this particular day or this particular time. You demonstrate whether you like it or you don't like it. because provided that it is within the confine of the law, we are going to demonstrate. So demonstration must be understood first. They are not for Raila, they are not for Ruto. No one has the autonomy to decide for people that you should demonstrate, you should not demonstrate. Provided a person has decided to demonstrate, there's no way you can stop them to demonstrate. So, people are still going to demonstrate because the government or the political class have regrouped to protect the status quo. Those are the reasons why people might go back to still demonstrate. The issue of Odinga goons going to come to inflate the demonstrators, let them just come and inflate the demonstrators because they are protecting the status quo. But the point is, these goons who want to protect Odinga, who want to protect Ruto, they are suffering. In fact, they are suffering more than the Gen Zs because they are used to handouts, they are used to be sycophants because without handouts, they can't survive.
I don't think they are good. They are calling themselves the fan. We are talking about the fanatical base, because Right Honorable Prime Minister has base, and President William Ruto too has base. But now, if you go even to the social media, you will find like their supporters are saying no maandamano, and they're saying like sisi kama jeshi la baba, we are not going to go on the street. And I know those who are also the fanatical base of Ruto, they're saying, okay, we are not going. And this one includes even some millennials. We're not talking about goons here. We're talking about their fanatical base.
Yeah, their fanatical base, but I'm saying, they have said that they're not going to street to them. They will not demonstrate. They're calling off Mandamano. So they should not come to the street to counter the demonstrators. They should just keep it off because they have said they're going to keep it off. It doesn't matter. The same base for Raila or for Ruto. They are facing the same challenges we are facing as Gen Zs. This is a national problem. It's not only for Gen Zs, but Gen Zs are just quick in information to relay to the public that, okay, we are getting wrong. So if these people are calling off Mandamano, that's why I started by saying no one has that power to call off Mandamano. Provided you can Mandamano anytime, even tomorrow, you can just go and occupy even City Hall. There's no one has that power to call off Mandamano. So those Odinga's base and Ruto's base, let them just protect their government. So because now it is UDA ODM government. I think these are people. Let me just say they are sycophants and they're people who are used to handouts. You only protect your interests in politics. Like me, I don't benefit from Odinga and Ruto. So why should I protect them? I'm not protecting them. Me, my interest for the country. So for those of us who still want to go to demonstration, for those Gen Zs who still want to go to demonstration, they have that right. They will go for demonstration, whether Odinga refuse or Ruto refuse, they will go. You cannot deny people their constitutional right. With them, they are saying they are enjoying that right of political choice, that right of national unity. Why is it that when the constitution is favoring them, they apply it, but when the constitution is favoring us, they're denying us that right? We will demonstrate whether they call it off or they do not call it off. We will demonstrate. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And you've talked of something that is very, very important about when it comes to the constitution favoring them or not favoring them. I can remember immediately a president came into power, a group of ODM members, legislators, actually were invited to the president to visit him in the State House. And what happened, they later came and they got a backlash. They were called traitors, betrayers, and they were ridiculed in so many ways. They were insulted in so many ways. But today, there is the talk tone is quite much different, based on what has happened. They've talked. Both of them are now talking to the president. Some of them are now being nominated as the CSS. But you look at the variation tone on how it's being treated is much being treated a very fragile and a fluid situation as compared to the likes of Jalango when they visited the president. And you could even see on how they now try to bring some clauses in the law saying that the president has a right to appoint or to associate with anybody he feels like associating with, which was quite much different with the case of Jalango and Senator Tom Ojienda. So, and as this one goes on, we are still looking at, and how are the Gen Zs going to maneuver? And we look at the long term also, and we are talking about the long term that we are going to have. Let's say talk about how will they be very relevant, especially we know NADCO report will be implemented. How are they going to play part in that without associating themselves with a political party?
Brother Benson, one thing that we need to be clear about here is the young people have said very well that they are not interested in positions.
True.
Their main interest is they want to see changes. They want to see a government or leaders who follow the constitution, the rules of the country. That is what we want to see as a people, as young people. We are not interested in who is going to be the president. We are not interested in who is going to be appointed, whether Gen Zs or young people are appointed to the cabinet positions. We don't care. We want accountable leaders. And that is what we are fighting for as a people. We want to streamline this government leadership to an extent that whoever is appointed to these positions, whether they are from white or black or from whichever tribe, from whichever political party, as we don't care, we want to see a leader who will deliver to the people. That is what we are fighting for. And that is the reason why, up to this point, we don't have a leader. We are not interested in having a leader. We are not interested in forming a political party. We are only interested in streamlining, ensuring that all government dockets and everything works the right way. We are only concerned about our lives and the future we are only fighting to ensure that everyone is treated equally before the law and the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. We are only fighting to ensure that the generation that is going to come after us, they're not going to face the problem and the iniquities that we've been facing in this generation. It can never be that we got independent in 1963, but up to this date, we are still begging political leaders for development. Up to this date, we are still begging leaders to help to do for us arambes, for us to go to school. We are still begging political leaders so that we can get good health care systems. These are things that in this generation, wherever place you walk into, whichever part of the country, you should be having access of this, because the constitution says it very clear. We have got basic rights. Among them, we should not struggle to get basic food. We should not struggle to get education.
Makobura.
Yes.
I agree with you 100% of everything that you are saying. Yeah, those
Yes.
are some of the things that it is upon the government to provide for its citizenry. Yeah, but the issue that we have now here is, look at what happened. If you are pushing for those, you kind of, the Gen Z came out and were pushing for all those things that you've mentioned, but what have they got in return? Yeah, what we've got in return is how it happened so fast, such that what was perceived, let me just finish, what was perceived to be the enemies, two camps that could not see eye to eye, could now come together and form a broad-based government that we are being told is going to solve all this. Now, what is there? My question to you, how can it happen that you want this government or everybody to be accountable and provide all this, yet yourself, you are not on the decision-making table?
We are on the decision-making table. This is the reason why the Constitution says that we have the power, we have the sovereign power, and we are the majority. The political leaders make 2 or even less than 5%. And we are negotiating in this manner. We are always on demonstration. That is a clear indication that we are communicating. It is them who doesn't want to hear. And that is the reason why we are still very clear. The young people of the Republic of Kenya, they are very clear that the demonstrations are going to continue. If we continue this demonstration, that is a clear way of communicating with the people in leadership. The next demonstration that is being planned is, you will see if you are still here, you will see there's a good plan that has been put in place where wherever place you're coming from, wherever tribe, everyone is going to help each other. And there's a march. We are going to walk. Everyone from whichever part of the Republic of Kenya, we will be added to the capital city of the Republic of Kenya. Or if you are not unable, wherever you are, everyone will go to the nearest road and they will sit on those roads. That is a clear indication that we are tired. If they're not looking into what we are raising, that is a communication. So it is up to them. It doesn't have that. You can't appoint me to go represent the Gen Zs. That is when you will say that, oh, they are represented. There are so many forms of communication. Among them, of which this is very important. When you see a group of people, when you see a group of citizens crying about something and they are trying to revolt, they are trying to send a message, and you don't listen to them, meaning you don't respect them. It can never be that few leaders whom we give the mandate to go represent us, if they have failed, and even the government knows that they failed, that is why they made mistakes, and we've reminded them. Now they've even seen that they made a mistake. We are not sending them, we are not recalling them back, but what we are saying is they're already there. If they can't listen to us, we are still going to continue communicating until that day that they will see that truly these people have communicated. That is when the Mandamano thing will end. Because we are all united with one thing, the suffering as a people.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But still, let me come to Miguda. Miguda, Obura has talked about Mandamano, and that is something that is enshrined in our constitution, especially when it comes to the political process of this country. The constitution we have so many advantages on how we can also participate in political processes of this country. One of them being the Mandamano or the protest. Other are the vying for elective positions, whereby you vie so that when it comes to legislation, when it comes to bringing about legislation, you can be there, And how is the movement without leadership, as it is said, the movement that is leaderless, the movement that is tribeless, is going to make sure that despite the fact that we are going for protest, one way that protest, but still we can also communicate in the legislation. How is that one going to be possible if we don't come in, kind of get our leadership or a political party?
I think the issue of leadership is just by the political class to try to identify our leader so that they can maybe suppress that leader, so they can use that leader to communicate to us. Once we give them out our leader, the leader will not speak our mind, will not speak our grievances. The leader will, the needs will brief him on how to communicate to us. So, you can't say that we haven't achieved anything, because even yesterday when I was watching the proceedings in Parliament, the majority leader Kimani Ichung'wah said that up to now, Gen Zs are still greeting him. So we are communicating. The communication is there.
I agree. I'm not saying that the Gen Z has not achieved. Actually, Gen Z have in the whole of this process, they are the biggest beneficiary, and they've even made us to know how if the political class is shaken, how they react. And but now I'm saying we are taking one route. The movement is taking one route through protesting. But now there's also that side of political negotiation or political decision making when it comes to legislation. How are we going to do that? Because for your information, NADCO report, I think it will be implemented. That is one. Another information, what has really taken place? This is a clear win. It's a clear indication of 2027. And it tells you in 2027, probability of His Excellency President William Ruto being the president, presidential candidate in the coalition, what they are going to have is 100%. So how will you stop that?
Okay, first we have to agree that we are dealing with a potential dictator, William Ruto, and we are dealing with a potential conman, Raila Odinga. So these people, they are not a joke. So we have to change our tactics as we go on. So by you telling us that, how are we going to identify our grievances or our demands in legislation process or the policy making process? Right now they have tried to suppress us through demonstration. But I would like to disagree with them, because us, by the time they were making their own negotiation, for instance, when Odinga was negotiating with Ruto to make his people to be incorporated in government, Mbadi and Opio and I, we did not interfere with them. We allowed them to do their business peacefully. Why are they interfering with us? The only thing we are requesting from the government, just give us space. And currently we have gone underground, because we have seen how they're dealing with us through police brutality, through arrest. So we have decided to go underground. And there is also another one coming, very serious one. We have seen some posters around that, Nane Nane. There's another one which is now trending on social media currently. So these people, they should just allow the young people to take part in their protests, because young people also form part of this country. There's no way, by the time when they're making their own deals or they're making their own legislation, we do not interfere with them. But when it comes to our turn to make our own decision, they want to interfere with us. So they should not try to suppress us, because by the time you try to suppress us, we'll find an alternative. And when you find an alternative, you go underground, you will not know what the young people are planning. So the political class should just allow the young people to demonstrate their right in the constitution as prescribed. At the same time, they should also allow the young people to make them to accountable. They should not fear, because by the time President Ruto was in Tarakaniti yesterday, we did not interfere with him. He was on with these activities. While he was in Mombasa yesterday, no one interfered with him. Why is it that when we want to also have our own public meetings, they interfere with that? They should not interfere with us. They should let us to proceed with our activities as Kenyans.
Okay, fine, thank you. So another thing that I also wanted to say is the issue of us forming a political party or being in a negotiation table with the political party. It's something that we should not be talking about at this point, because if we start this, remember we still have like 3 years ahead of the general election. So the moment you come up here and then you start arguing or forming a political party, we automatically will get into a campaign mode. And the moment we get into a campaign mode, of course, remember the majority are the youths. The country will not actually move. And this will interfere even with the running of the government, and even the constitution itself would have been respected. So for that reason, my stand is, if the people in leadership, if they continue calling us to come up with a leader or a political party so that we can negotiate, they should not think about that, because we are not going to fall into that temptation. They want us to have a leader so that they start controlling them, so that they start bribing them. We are not going to fall for that temptation. We are focused people, and our stand is very clear. We're not interested in the leadership at this point. Come 2027, possibly, we will give, or majority of the youths of the Republic of Kenya, they will come out to present themselves for this elective post. But up to this point where we are a focused people. We are saying we are not going to get or engage in political activities. All we are going to do is we shall demonstrate until the day that the government in power will clearly look into our issues, until they will respond to the issues that we've been raising. Uh, there's a planned demonstration that is coming on 8th of August in 8199. If you see the clarification of this demonstration, the way it has been planned and what is going to happen, I think it's a clear indication that the young people of the Republic of Kenya are still focused, that the issues that they've been raising are still not looked into. And for that reason, they're not stopping anytime soon. Uh, Again, the reason why this thing is not going to end soon is because every Kenyan, every youth, every millennial, every parent in all parts of the Republic of Kenya, in one way or another, they are being affected by the bad leadership that we have in the country. And for that reason, this demonstration, as far as there are some political rewards that we saw given to the ODM party, we want to categorically make it clear that those are individual positions, individual benefits, whether John Badi or Pio Wandai, as much as they are coming from lowland, those positions are going to benefit those individual and with their families. Anyone is not part of that. If Joe and Oparanya were given cabinet secretary positions, those positions are only going to benefit them and their wives and their children and their families. And we are very clear. They cannot use the position that they've been given to target a community. It shall never happen. And we saw when the two were governors, that is Oparanya and Joe, they only helped their families and their close friends. They never helped the whole country. Of course, when they're in a leadership position, they have influence of ensuring that there is development in their areas. But this of the cabinet secretary does not touch it. We require the leadership skill, yes. It influences the whole country. So in one way or another, whether the cabinet secretary is coming from northeastern or whichever part of the country, that is not an issue to us. All we need is someone who can deliver, someone who is consistent, someone who is not corrupt. I think I have answered very well what my brother Benson had raised. So maybe Mikuda, if you have something else to add on that before we proceed.
Just to add on top of appointment of ODM members into government, they should distinct when they're having their deals as politicians. Let them just have their deals. We are not interfering with them. Let ODM and UD have their deals. That is okay. It's within their prerogative to do so. But also, even us, when we are having our plans, let them not send police to us. Let them not arrest us. Let them not abduct us. Let them not mishandle us as if we are not citizens of this country. We have no problem with them having their deals as politicians, as we are concentrated on our way. We are moving. It doesn't mean that we have to move to street. There is many ways you can protest. So plans are underway. There is this one coming Nani. There are plans. Many people, if you can get the timetable, you understand that this is a serious one. So the political class, they should not even argue that because they have given John Mbadi and Opiyo and I, those are laws. For instance, now they're saying that since independence, there's no law who has hold that position for treasury. That is nonsense. Laws had PS Oyugi. If you go to South Nyanza, those sides of, I think, Rongo, PS Oyugi did not even help the people of Rongo. If you go to those, they're not good roads in those villages. So this issue of you saying that because you are given the treasury, they have not have this since independence, they want to sanitize this KK government. There's no problem. But also I want to caution Badi. Badi has taken this position at the time we're having economical crisis as a country. So already they have destroyed that treasury. They're giving something which they have destroyed for you to, so that they can come 2027 to campaign. Oh, we gave them the treasury, we gave them energy. It is the ODM who are vocal about our government. Now we gave them to assist us. They are failures. So this blame they will be given back to Baba, and you say that now give me another second term so that I can appoint my own people so that I can face this economy. All these tricks are not going to work. We are terming them as Mchezo town. We are using this Mchezo town. So let them have their own vettings in parliament. Let them have their own government. Even us, let us have our own demonstration, our own protest. Those who want to have the demonstration protest, You are welcome. Just come, try to interfere with them. We will see how events will unfold. But we are very clear. The way we are not interfering with them, having their own meetings, their own dialogues, their own negotiations, their own formations. Let them also not interfere with us. Let us be clear on that point. Let us have respect so we can respect each other. Yeah.
Now that you've talked about the Odium Party, I read, was it Standard of the Nation? We've started seeing the remaining leaders, they've started fighting for the post of deputy party leader, chairmanship of the party. I don't know whether you're aware of that. I don't know whether you saw that. And we saw that Edwin Sifuna, Babu Owino, Emilio Diambo. We also saw, uh, is it the Omabay member of parliament, Omabay town, that's Kaluma. And some few leaders, they've started fighting for the party leadership. Maybe your take, and who do you think can fit those positions? And again, do you think that ODM is still going to be, uh, is it still going to exist as a powerful political party the way it has been? And again, what are they going to do in the parliament now that they are firebrands, the likes of uh, the minority leader, John Buddy, they were very vocal in the parliament. Now that they have left, who do you really think would then fit the positions they hold?
I think ODM can still survive to an extent. Doesn't mean that it can perish, because even to date we have Ford Kenya, and Ford Kenya was formed back way those in 90s plus. So I think ODM will still exist, and it can exist in a small unit. For instance, it can exist in Luo Nyanza or some parts of Nairobi, but it can't be the way it used to be. ODM has been from 2007. ODM was bigger than today. So ODM will still it will exist in a smaller unit. That's my point. But when it comes to the issue of maybe appointments, I would just say that ODM is an individual party. It is Raila's party, and they have been lying to us that NEC is the top decision making organ in the party. No, it is Raila who is the top decision making organ in that party. Raila is just making a phone call, and all changes will just be drastically changed. For instance, look at the time they wanted to chase Sababu na Mwamba out of ODM party. There were these things like they're going for party primaries, party elections at Kasarani Gymnasium. But Raila had already informed leaders. He had all his list. He was keeping them underground. I think, and these people, they told Sifuna to write about that the position of parties that they have not gone to negotiation. But Opondo Kaloma was countering that, no, Sifuna, we have gone to negotiation. In fact, Raila has submitted names to William Ruto to appoint as CS. So you see, Raila is trying to divide these people. He's giving different information to these people. He's giving Sifuna say this, Kaluma say this. So ODM, I saw the Western MPs from ODM, from UDA, they were with George Natembeya in a Serena Hotel. They were trying to discuss. I think ODM now, particularly, it's majorly, it will be dominated by Luos, because they have tried to kick people like Sifuna will just go. You saw Ojenda told Sifuna that very soon he will be told to shut up. So I think leadership in ODM, it will still be determined by Raila Odinga. See, Raila is still alive. He will determine the people who will take these two deputies, and the people who will take the Secretary General, the people, even the person who is going to be the minority leader in the House. Odinga will decide. Even the person is going to be appointed, is going to be nominated to take from body, is going to decide. But in the event that the slots pass through parliament through vetting, I'm seeing that people like Simbarati might move from vice chairman to national chairman. People like Junet, people like Opondo Kaloma, people like Abdul Swamar Sharif, for purposes of regional balancing. But going forward, ODM will exist in a small unit. That's a fact. And going forward, Raila is will be still the top decision-making person in that party. That party belongs to Odinga, and Odinga is ODM, and ODM is Odinga. There's nothing you can do about it. So if you are in ODM, you must be very careful how you make your decision, how you address the media. Do not just come out, you want to speak on your own. Like I saw Babu Owino was being interviewed sometimes by K24, and they were asking Babu Owino now, because Baba has made himself clear that he's going to work with these four guys. What about you? Babu said that, okay, at this point, I don't even need someone's blessings, because Babu is not going to endorse Babu, as we have said. And if you believe in yourself that you are a leader, do not need these blessings, endorsements, or appointments. Just come out and charge your own way. So going forward, ODM is going to split and is going to exist in some small unit. Yeah.
Okay, on the same, you've mentioned about the young leaders, the young leaders in Western Kenya coming up to discuss issues affecting their areas. And again, they also clearly said that they're planning of maybe a political move that would consolidate or bring them together so that they would chart their way and represent the people of Western Kenya in a manner that befits their numbers. What do you think, considering the fact that the people we saw in these meetings were the Secretary General of ODM, the Secretary General of UDA, that's Malala, and Sifuna. We also saw the likes of Osotsi. We saw the governor of Trans Nzoia, that's Governor Natembeya, who's been very vocal fighting for the people of Western Kenya in a manner that he feels, or he says that the people of Kenya have been, of Western Kenya have been used politically as much as they have the numbers. The only thing that the lawyers are known for, the people of Western Kenya, is working for people or doing works in the city which are not really befitting what he believes or says they are what they've been stood for. So it says that the reason why they've been failing, they've been suffering as a region, is because of the leadership that has not been representing them rightly. So they are coming together to kind of, in a way, chart a way that is going to help them capture power. Of course, that is the end game. What do you think? What's your take on that? Come together, bearing in mind that these are young politicians who are really understood by the people of Kenya. They have good following across the divide, the likes of Sifuna, uh, the likes of Natembeya, and again, considering the fact that Western has been dominated by several parties, and they came together. We saw that. What's your take on that?
Yeah, first, I think to respond to your question, politics is all local. Even we as Gen Zs, we are saying that we are tribeless, we are leaderless, we are fearless, we are formless, the way Mr. Ruiz saying. But I think Kenyan politics is all local, all local. So these Western people have realized that when they come together as Western people and chart their way, they can be in negotiation table. You know, the reason why Odinga and Ruto strike a deal is because Odinga has majority of members of parliament in parliament. Odinga has almost 86 members of parliament. ODM MPs are 86. Because of that numbers, so he has that advantage of coming together to Ruto to negotiate on how to share this national cake. So Western people have realized that it is by numbers that can make you to negotiation table. How do you get these numbers? First, you go to your local point, then you organize, you group yourself, you come as a united Western. So if they have majority, maybe if they can have maybe like 70 members in parliament, they could be involved in the table to negotiate. The fact that Raila has majority of MPs in parliament, he was called to negotiate for these positions. So they have just realized, but it's not too late. That is number one. Number two, there is this issue of generational change of leaders. The low people don't want to accept it, but it's a reality. There's a generational change in this country. You can see the Kalenjin nation and also the Kikuyu nation. Current members of parliament from central Kenya, they are young people. these even governors are young people. You see people like this governor of Muranga, Irunga. These are young people. People like Abo cannot come to be elected because their days are gone. Even if you look at Western region, so they want to remove Mudavadi and Wetangula from the equation. In Nyanza, Raila also must accept that there is this generational change, whether you like it or you don't like it. Young leaders must emerge. So Western people have just regrouped so that they can chart their way as young people. You have seen people like Sifuna, people like Malala, who are in UDN and ODM. They have come together purposely for unity. You don't mind where you're coming from, whether political party, political class. So you must go back to your local point and decide so you can come with a majority of the members of parliament for you to negotiate. You know, if Raila could have been that less popular, for instance, in 2007, 2008, the reason why Raila was not convicted or was not charged in ICC is because Raila was having majority of members of parliament in the National Assembly. By then it was called parliament. Why do you want to charge someone with many members of parliament? If you have the people, you have power. That's why you must find people first. That's why these politicians, when we regroup as Gen Zs, we have power, we are the people. It is the people who rule, not individuals. So the Western people have realized, but it's not too late. Let them just go and re-strategize, organize, and come back and come as Western people. Let them, some can bolt out of ODM, out of UDA, so they can have their own political party. Because we have been insincere. We have been saying to these people that do not form your political parties, but you can see ODM predominantly is a Luo party. UDA predominantly is a Kalenjin party. Jubilee, a Central Art Jubilee, and the ODA, the Luo Nation, Kalenjin Nation, and Kiku Nation have been lying to these people that let us form this political party to be for national unity. Western people have been divided. Some have been in Jubilee, some have been in ODM, some have been in UDA. So if they can come and unite as a Luya nation, they can provide a potential presidential candidate come 2027. You can see even the Kamba nation are behind Kalonzo, the wiper. So our politics is too local to an extent that if you try to play it as someone who is not local, you might miss the target. That's why the people of Western have decided to rally behind Natembea, those ones, so that they can have a unifying factor to present their grievances on the national table. When people are sharing national cake, they can go to those positions. You see, previously Natembea was complaining that this
Okay,
independent.
I understand what you're saying, and I totally agree with you. But I wanted to ask you this question. This issue of a group of people coming from a specific region coming together to chart their political will. I think where I see it, I think I see this as an advancement of tribal cocoons in the republic. Because, for example, if we try talk about the Western Kenya, currently the prime cabinet secretary is from Western Kenya. The what? Um the Speaker of the National Assembly is from Western Kenya. We've got so many appointments, of course, at that point. Which kind of representation are we looking for? From where I see it, all I can say is the people that are currently holding political leadership in those areas, they're the people who have failed. They should not come back to start lying to the people that they are not represented well. Which kind of representation are they looking for? Even if suppose they come together, what kind of representation are they looking for? If they have someone who is almost like a deputy president, actually I would say is a co-deputy president. They also have a speaker of the National Assembly. Those people are enough to fight for them when it comes to if suppose there was this mentor or mentality that mtu wenu akiwa juu, that is when you will get the services. This is where we are messing as a country. And this is why, personally, I don't encourage this thing of people from a specific tribe coming together, trying to lie to their local tribes that if we come together, I don't know what. Of course, we've seen that Raila's managed to move around with that. But there is one thing that also escalated the issue of tribalism in the Republic of Kenya. We've seen Ruto is currently doing that. That is where That is the reason why you see, if for example you go with the UDA in Nyanza region, they will see you. They not see you as an individual. They will simply see you as a as Ruto. If you go with Jubilee or whichever. So this mentality of people coming together to lie to the people that they are going to represent them in a manner that they've never seen before, it is something which cannot happen. There's no miracle there. All we need to see from where I sit is, as an individual, if you are elected to represent the people, you have the capability, you have everything that it takes for you to give the good service to the people that you are representing. So I think that's my take. You wanted to finish up on your point. I'm sorry I had cut you.
Okay, you have cut me, but it's as if you have had. I was having 2 points. It's as if you have had only one point. You have majorly concern on the issue of tribal politics or local politics. I also introduced another point. I was having 2 points actually. I was having that of our politics is too local and also generational change. So if you could have heard me about generational change, you could have heard what I was saying. I was saying this generational change. So these people have come together because the people you have called out their names, Musalia Mudavadi and Speaker Wetangula, they are being perceived as those people who are aging out of politics. They are fading away. So this generational change, young leaders are coming together so that they can negotiate because currently they're there, but the community does not feel the impact of them being there. You see, so this generational change, we have to admit it as more. So this is a problem in Luo Nyanza. They don't want to admit it. We keep on electing these leaders. Like for example, someone has been elected 4 terms, 20 years in parliament. And what is it that he has not do for the last 20 years that is going to do again? So you see, so we should accept this generational change. If someone has been elected, for instance, if you are, let me use the example. I like using Mbadi example because I can be accountable whatever I said here. You know, Mbadi was elected 15 years member of parliament for Suba. In fact, he was even minority leader. Now he was the nominated. Now he has gone to treasury. What is it that Mbadi has not done as a leader that is going to do as a treasury? If you have been given opportunity, there are those who have served, for example, one term. Look at this Kiaru MP, Didi Nyoro. Didi Nyoro, this is now his second term, but he has performed. He has worked very well compared to other MPs. By the time Peter Kenneth was MP for Gatanga, Peter Kenneth also worked very well. Look at this MP in Nairobi, Embakasi East, Babu Owino. He's in his second term. He's delivering. Look at this Westlands MP, Tim Wanyonyi. They're delivering. What is this that these people have been elected like 30 years? You have been there for 3 decades and you still want to be elected. Give space for young leaders. That's why these people we are trying to push them away. If you don't push them away, you'll not get your space. You must fight for your space. As Gen Zs, we are tribeless, I've said, but I'm trying to give you an example. You know, the people who met at Serena Hotel were not Gen Zs. Malala, Sifuna, Natembea, those are not Gen Zs. So they are playing their politics of their era. Let them have their politics of tribal regrouping or whatever. But as Gen Zs, as we are tribeless, we are forming our alliance across. You see, like now, the so-called Kasimil Makoure, we perceive him as a Gen Z. We are not perceiving him as either Kikuyu or Luo. You see, people who have been in the forefront in this struggle for New Kenya. As Gen Zs, we haven't perceived anybody as a Luo or a Kikuyu. But if you see these old people regrouping, for instance, the Western people, allow them to do so because that is how they play their politics. But when our time comes, or when that time comes, we will elect a leader based on the ground that is tribeless, he doesn't subscribe to this old politics of this country. That's why I said in my initial beginning that we want to get overhaul of the whole system. But the current politicians or the current leaders are not comfortable with that our approach because they're the beneficiary of those tribal politics. They're the beneficiaries of those regional politics. So they are not that comfortable. So that's why I told you, just let them do their things. We are not interfering with them. But also, they should also allow us to do our things. They should not interfere with our stuffs. Because when our time comes, We are now trying to write our future. We are trying to write our history that by the time we come of age, because in the next 10 years, this country will belong to us, not them. So we want to decide on how we want our country to be. We want to decide on how we want ourselves to be ruled, the kind of laws that should apply to ourselves, you see. So just allow them to have their staffs, let them regroup, let Western people regroup, let them have their whatever they want to have. But our struggle definitely will come to accountable when our time comes. When our time comes, we'll not mind about those things. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. When you're still on the opposition side, we saw that Her Excellency Martha Wangari Karua, she had written to the political party registrar that she wanted to opt out of the Azimio. She gave her reasons that she feels that the agreement that she signed together with others is not being honored. But again, there was this group of people who are trying to reply uh, from what they are trying to talk about the whole issue after Martha Karua presenting or seeking for removal from the political party that is Azimio. That she never came up. She in her party that she didn't even have even a single member of parliament, and that if she wants to get out or leave the party, she's at liberty to leave it at any time because they feel that she brought nothing. So her leaving is not an issue. What's your take? But again, uh, I want I would also want you to kindly try clarify on this issue of after the appointments of the ODM party leaders. This is something that people are really discussing about. Who is going to take over the opposition party leadership? Is it still going to be run by the ODM party, or uh, is it going to be run by a Wiper party? What's your take on that?
First, the issue of Mata Karua getting out of Azimio. I think Mata Karua, we have said here time without number that Azimio is dead. So I don't see why you should be where the coalition is dead. What are you doing there? So Mata Karua has just to walk away from uh, Azimio. Azimio was made to capture power in 2022, but they failed to capture power. So 2027, you must form. You can see there are now realignments, new alliances being formed for 2030, 2027. So as Mata Karua, also yes, she has with this also, according to the Political Parties Act, that if you want to get away of Azimio, you have to write a political party. But he's in the process of getting out of the Azimio, but spiritually is out of Azimio. Kalonzo Musyoka can as well walk out because, as for me, ODM has walked out of the Azimio party, but they have incorporated to work with William Ruto, so they are out of Azimio. They have not just done it formally, but physically they are out of Azimio. The issue of who will take over from Raila, or in case there is no ODM, or from this current leadership who have bolted out of, these people have joined executive on their own volition. They have joined now. They are going to resign as, like for example, Mbadi is going to resign as chairman of ODM. Joe and Oparanya are going to resign as deputy party leaders. So that is the discretion of ODM to decide that who is going to occupy those places. They can go for elections, they can appoint, but I am suspecting that Simbarati might climb the ladder, maybe from national chairman or deputy party leader, because Odinga also does not want to leave this party leader thing. He doesn't want to leave ODM to anybody. So he might appoint someone to maybe take in charge when he's away, but when he'll be back, he'll be reinstated as the ODM party leader. As for Azimio, Kalonzo Musyoka right now should also start realigning for 2027, because if you want to live in denial that ODM is not in Azimio, that is up to you. ODM is not in Azimio. They are bolted out. Now Kenya has realized that they are realists, you see. So Kalonzo should just try to negotiate across the political base so that he can find line up for 2027. That's why I say these things, you must distinct them. Distinct 2027 politics from Gen Z. Distinct old politicians from upcoming politicians, and you'll get it right. Let them transact their business as they are used to. As also we are transacting our business, and we are now currently transacting our business. We will meet in future. So Azimio is dead. There is no Azimio. 2027, we'll have new alliance, new formations. Even Kenya Kwanza is dead because after what I've realized in this country, after every elections, people realign for next election to capture power. So if you fail to capture power, you must form another alliance with other people so that you can capture power come 2027 or 2032. Yeah, that is my take.
Okay, thank you. Maybe before we end the show, first, I want to say thank you to all our viewers. Thank you for being part of BBM because your opinion counts. We are so much grateful for those who have been supporting us in one way or another. Yes, Miguda, before I end the show, maybe what's your last remarks? What do you want to tell the people of Kenya and even the young people, as because among the issues that the young people have been presenting before the president and before the public, they've not been listened to. The people in leadership are simply negotiating for themselves, and we've seen them rewarding themselves. We are not seeing issues of young people being rewarded. Maybe your last remarks to the young people of Kenya concerning what they've been raising, and yeah, maybe your take on that before you end the show.
My last remark to the young people of Kenya is that when we were starting this struggle, some of you thought that it was easy. No, it was never easy. The system was going to fight back. And that's what they are doing currently. They are fighting back. To an extent, they are regrouping across the political divisions, you see. So it was not going to be business as usual. So do not lose hope. Do not lose the struggle. You see, let us keep on pressing. Let us keep on to struggle because it was obvious they were going to fight back. So don't be persuaded that now because they have regrouped. No, they're just fighting back. And also to young people, let us be united. Let us not fall into these people's traps. Let us remain united as a country, and let us advocate for new change, for new generation, so that we can have a better Kenya for people to enjoy even after we have gone. I think that's my last remark. And also to our viewers, I can see one of them saying that Gen Z's work smart, only goons are taking advantage of innocent youths. Okay, point taken.
Thank you so much, everyone, for watching the show. We will be back maybe at around 10:30. Kindly join us as we be continuing the conversation. Thank you. Have a good evening.